But this is something that's kind of been stirring up, and today I just really felt like I just need to just release it. I used to be a big current events guy. Used to watch the news and stay on social media a lot. And I've pulled back a lot recently, especially just the news in general. You probably don't see me as much on Facebook. Just because there's just a lot of ugliness right now. There's a lot of division and bickering and fighting. And so this is part of all that for me. I named it this today, The Power of Words, because man, our words are so powerful. I think more powerful than we even realize. And really what I want to address is one central thing that I believe is probably the biggest lie since our childhood. We've been told this. We probably said it on the playground when we were playing with kids and they wanted to be ugly and mean to us. And it's simply that phrase that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That is a lie, and probably one of the biggest ones that we have been ingrained to try to believe. I know for me, I can honestly tell you, I have been punched in my face before. I have gotten into fights and got beat up pretty good, and it still did not hurt as bad as some words that people have said. The pain that lingers, how hard it is to get over those words. And so actually check this out. I want to read this Proverbs 25:18. Listen to what this says. This is talking about lies, but it's still that's still ugly words, right? It says in 18, telling lies about others is as harmful as hitting them with an axe, wounding them with a sword, or shooting them with a sharp arrow. So, listen to that again. You telling lies, you speaking negative about people, you gossiping and bringing negativity with your words is like hitting them with an axe, wounding them with a sword, or shooting them with a sharp arrow. So, yeah, absolutely, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can hurt even more. Bones can heal with time, but a broken spirit caused by words of death is not easily repaired. The tongue, our tongue, this thing right in here is one of the most powerful weapons there is. Words can break our hearts. Words can break our spirits. And we can do that to other people with the words that we say. Proverbs 18:12 says that the tongue has the power of life and death. Now just think about that for a minute. Have you ever thought that your words have that much power? That you're either speaking life or you're speaking death. You're speaking one of the two when you talk. Our words can either build people up or they can break them down. And so just think for a minute, how many people have we maimed or killed just with our tongue? No physical action. We didn't physically harm them, but maybe our words brought so much destruction to them. And even though I personally know the damage that words can do, I'm far from perfect in my own speech to others. I have been so guilty of having slung words in my moments of anger and hurt that I wish that I could take back, could retract. It's in those moments of just being angry and knowing that what I'm about to say, like I'm just going to put somebody on blast because they upset me. And once those things are said, once they come out, the hard thing is we must never say things in anger that we don't mean, because you can say you're sorry, but you can't take it back. And so, man, as I was thinking about this, we actually were spending, Kurt Williams, the founder of Youth Reach, was spending some time with the residents there talking about words. And last night when I got home and I was really just thinking about this more, the damage that hurtful words can do, I thought about recently, I was up in, well, not recently now, it's been like June of last year that I was up in Michigan doing disaster relief from the dams that collapsed. And this passage came to mind, and then I'm going to tell you the story of where the dams came into place. James 1:19, the second part of that says, "Let everyone be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger." Slow to speak, and then slow to anger. it took me back to those dams, because the job of that dam is to hold that water back, right? Well, if you saw anything about that last year in Michigan, 2 of those dams collapsed, and when they collapsed, what happened is it drained those lakes, completely drained 2 lakes when these dams just busted open, and it flooded the mid-Michigan area. One area in particular, the city of Sanford, almost completely wiped out this town. It was so heartbreaking to see, and it happened because the owner of the dam didn't keep up with the maintenance. He knew there was issues and he let it go, and after a while, man, that dam just broke, and the flooding came in and did some major damage. If you've ever seen a house that's flooded, man, when sheetrock gets wet, it's done. It's soft and crumbly. It's ruined. You gotta rip it all out. We had to rip out floors, tile, carpet. But then one thing that even struck me is a lot of people aren't familiar with black mold. And so this one house that was along the river, we went to this house, and this lady was like, "Hey, I'm good now." They pulled out some appliances, they pulled up the floor, but everything else is good. And I asked how high the water got, and she thought she was fine. But I said, "Can I just look? Can I just check behind one of your walls and make sure that you don't have any mold?" And so what we did is we just cut out a square and opened it up, and man, there was almost 3 feet of mold behind her walls that had accumulated from that water, that on the surface from the outside she didn't even see it. She didn't even know, so she thought she was okay. But behind those walls, that black mold had began to grow, and she was sleeping in her bedroom in that area where black mold was all around her. So it's extremely dangerous. I say all that because that's what the Lord reminded me of with our words sometimes, that man, when we get upset, that dam can just break and we can just shoot off, and a flood comes out. It can cause so much damage with the things that we say, and it's irreparable. I mean, yes, those houses, it took a lot of work, but it was a lot of work. It was a lot of money. It was a lot of time restoring those houses in that community because the damage that flood did. And the same thing can be with us with our words, is, man, we can just come through in a fit of rage or in a moment where we're just in our emotions, and we can cause so much destruction, even for that black mold. There's times that we say something to somebody and that person go, "Oh, that doesn't bother me. That's whatever, man. I don't care about what you say." But behind the surface, inside where nobody can see, man, things can begin to fester. The enemy can use your words that you said to someone to begin to bring a lot of doubt, a lot of frustration, a lot of internal things where they begin to doubt themselves, who they are as a person, what they're capable of doing. If you tell someone they're dumb one time, man, they can write that off. But if someone is told time and time again they're stupid, they're dumb, they can't, they won't, we can begin to believe those things, and it will limit that person from ever thinking that they can do the fullness of what God has called them to be. They may think that they're not going to ever succeed in school or go to college, or maybe they're passionate about something, but they don't think they're going to pursue it because somebody said, "You stink at playing guitar." Our words have power, and they can really hinder people. Even if we're joking, even if we're using sarcasm, that can still hinder people into knowing who they are in God and what they can truly do. So the key that I have found, I'm just sharing now from me, the key that I have found is learning to tame my tongue, and it's still a work in progress. The number one thing in doing that is I have to ask myself, is this me, God, or is this you? Because basically when I say that is what I'm about to say going to edify or uplift that person, or is it going to tear them down? Man, that can come from driving. My wife will be the very first one to tell you that is a work in progress with me, that, man, I can have some moments of road rage if someone cuts me off or does something ridiculous that I want to just tell them that they're an idiot, that I want to call them names. And the Lord is still taming my tongue in that, to just stop. What if you got someone who's rude, whether that's at Walmart or you're at the gas station and somebody's rude to you, somebody pops off at the mouth? Do we retaliate? or just an argument. It could be friend, family, coworker. You get into an argument. Do we feel like we have to defend ourselves, that we have to, load up and come at them the way they're coming at us? And so, once again, what I have found is that if it's me, which means my flesh, if I'm about to speak in my flesh, there's a very, very good chance that nothing good is about to come out of my mouth in that moment. And so what I have had to do and continue to work on doing is in those moments where I'm mad, I'm upset, I'm hurt, my emotions are getting the best of me, I have to literally say, Lord, shut my mouth. Shut my mouth, because nothing good is fixing to come out of it. And there's two passages that line up right there with that, where we got to take hold of this, because that's what the Lord is saying. Proverbs 21:23 says, watch your tongue and keep your mouth shut, and you will stay out of trouble. And then Psalm 141:3, this is David. David, a man after God's own heart. Listen to what he says here. He says, take control of what I say, O Lord, and guard my lips. So it's building a filter. It's a filter in our mind that says, man, I think this is way more me than it is God right now. And if it's me, Lord, just shut my mouth. Man, that will save you so much heartache, so much issues of trying to repair things that you said in that moment that we can't simply take back. And so I'll leave you with this. Think about that. And then ask yourself this today. Do your words build up, or do they tear down? Are we speaking life into people every day, or are we speaking death? And lastly is this. This is a constant reminder for me. So this is me just as much as anybody else. Right now, in our day and time, so many times we want to be a witness, and we think that it has to be about how much scripture we know, how much Bible stories we know, how great of a speaker we are. I'm telling you, this is the biggest way that we can witness right here, is by our words. That when you walk around and you uplift people, you edify them, you speak life into them, man, that will witness to people more than anything else. But if we walk around, if we call ourselves Christians on Facebook, but we get into these silly debates and we just lash out at people and we use ugly words and we belittle them, talk down to them, get into petty arguments, that's not going to be a positive witness for Christ. That's going to do the opposite. It's probably going to have people go, man, if that's what being a Christian is all about, I really don't think I want any part of that. But your words, speaking life into people, will be the biggest witnessing tool that you can ever use. So, love you guys. God bless you. Let's watch our words and ask the Lord to build a filter in our mind.